This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, the recording has been started. Hope you all guys can hear me well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can? Good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This affirmation could indicate that
Don't hear anything.
you guys are already exhausted probably for the day. But yeah, let's begin. I'm just gonna be your trainer for this particular course. So this is the demo lecture that we guys are proceeding with. I'll just quickly introduce myself, and uh, of course, it's definitely a big forum that I could see on my screen, and it's gonna be difficult for introduce each one of us to within a forum. So let's Sangeeta, I believe rest all can hear me well. So it seems it's just the issue with you. Never mind. I'll just continue myself. So instead of introducing each one of us, I would just go ahead and introduce myself. And probably let's just get going and have a brief overview that what this course is gonna be and how things are going to be and the way we are going to proceed with it. Yeah. So if any of you would have any question after each topic, I would give a window to you guys to put across your thoughts. It doesn't need to be a question. Even if you want to discuss something, this not just this, but every session is going to be interactive enough, right? I would like to see more green arrows than those red muted icons. I wouldn't be much keen to see those icons on the screen. Yeah? So let's make it a little more interactive. You're free to put across your thoughts. Let's put this as a discussion rather than question and answer sort of a discussion. So I have been working with IT industry for more than 10 years. I have started my career as a manual tester back in 2013, and it's been more than 11 years I've been working with various industries and organizations. So I've started as a manual tester. Later on, I got a chance to try my hands with database. I worked with mainframe, SQL, with these databases for a couple of years. Going down the line, I thought of trying my hands with automation. So started with Selenium, worked with it for a couple of years. And when I was doing very well with Selenium, I got a chance to try this tool Tosca, which was completely new to the market. So precisely, if I have to put it across in a number, I started working with Tosca version 6.1 back in 2014-15, and since then I have worked for more than 8 years with Tosca as one of my primary skill set. Tosca has evolved like anything. I have started to work with Tosca when those were the days when you used to type on LinkedIn Tosca, you used to get a result as no search found. Yeah, that was a time when I started to work with this, and it's the trend has completely changed, and now you see that every alternative organization would be using Tosca as one of their key automation tool, and it's been widely spread and being used in the market. So we are going to discuss all of this about the market, the kind of domains that Tosca is being utilized. So we are going to discuss all of these things into our discussion. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Just let me know if you guys can see it. If any of you is not able to see it, just raise your hand. Yeah, all of you can see my screen.
Yeah, come.
All right, thank
Yes.
you. Very good to hear. So that's brief about myself. I'm not going to continue with introduction of all of you because probably we would exhaust with the entire hour just by knowing each other's name. So yeah, these are a couple of things that I would like to put it across. That whenever we are going to have this session started, let's start on time. Of course, we broke the first rule today itself, but yeah, it's the first day. We can definitely understand that the struggle is real for the first time. But since we are familiar with how the things would be and how the sessions would be going to be handled, so we can join on time. mute if any one of you are not speaking, right? Raise your hand, put your question into the chat box if you have any. We can definitely get that into the discussion, and we can have it in the form of a discussion rather than just a part of a question and answer. And interact and engage, like I mentioned, I would like to see you guys more interactive, proactive, not just asking the questions but also putting across your thoughts, because I believe most of you are professionals. You guys are already working somewhere, I believe, right? So let's just quickly have a, I wouldn't say a poll, but I would just like to hear how many of you are completely new to the industry or kind of a fresher, 0 to 2. How many of you? If you could just drop that into the chat box, I would just like to hear more on that. Just want to hear how, if you could just put your, raise your hand if how many of you are falling into the category 0 to 2 and how many of you are 2 plus. So let's just quickly have that. Yeah, just one. Okay, so that's a good number. So I believe that's what is the bottom line that we were talking about, that most of you are professional and working with some organizations where you already know what is testing and how things are going to be happening into the market and how the scope is. So most of the things that you are already aware of. It's just that we are going to discuss is how we are going to shape these things, bringing Tosca into the picture, and how Tosca is going to be beneficial to you when it comes to the automation. Yeah. All right. So these are a couple of things that we are going to discuss as a part of this course. So when it comes to the Tosca, there are several techniques, or I would say there are certain topics that we would need to go through or you need to be aware of when you call yourself as an automation tester using Tosca, right? So like we mentioned that whenever a runner or an athlete is running a marathon, you always um, dimensionalize him in terms of his stamina or probably his strength. For example, Usain Bolt can complete his 200 meters in X seconds, right? So that X seconds is a measure for him that which showcases his capability, right? So that's the same way that if you call yourself as I am an AS1 or I'm an AS2 certified, that mean that there are certain topics which are considered as a part of this certification, right? So if you call yourself as a certified resource with this certification, it is considered that you are already good with certain topics which are part of that respective certification. Am I clear? For example, S1 and even AS2 is kind of a basic certifications when it comes to Tosca. AS2 has certain advanced topics which we are going to discuss in detail later on. But if you call that, I'm AS1 and AS2 certified, if you're going to appear an interview with that as a bottom line, right? the the interviewer is going to consider that you have worked with the topics which are considered into S1 and S2 significantly, right? So his questions wouldn't be theoretical. He would rather be questioning you on the topics which I have covered in S1, but his questions would be more on the practical side. For example, if S1 contains certain loops, right? So if you call yourself as I'm S1 certified, the interviewer would be more keen to see how you are implementing a loop for a certain condition. He might be more keen to open a website, let's take Amazon in that case or Flipkart in that case, and he would put a scenario that, hey, this is a product, and how would you be designing a test case, right? How would be your approach for that? So that's how the questions are going to be, right? So we are going to discuss about each and every topic that we are going to consider as a part of each of these certification, that what exactly the topics that we are going to consider in each of these certifications, right? And I'll get on to it in more detail once we get on to this session later more further. So far, any question? Anything that you would like to ask?
SAP thing will be covered as part of this syllabus.
Okay, I'll tell you on that. All right. So this certification A1, right? It is more on the automation engineer level 1. Okay. So that actually enables your capability on various areas which can be integrated with Tosca. Considering SAP, considering one of a integration with a database, considering the integration with probably mainframe. Those who have been working with banking domain must be aware of that. Integration of Tosca with some other tool called Jira or QC, right? So you are going to go through several integrations of Tosca with these kind of external applications. So SAP would be one of it. So that would be covered within A1. But apart from that, there is one more certifications which Tosca provide. So SAP certified automation tester using Tosca. It is a little advanced. Those who are practically working on SAP can only be able to understand the concepts, because unless you're functionally aware what SAP does, you won't be able to understand the concept that how would you be implementing that using Tosca. So the basics of integrating Tosca with SAP would be covered in A1, but actually implementing the tree structure or probably T codes and all of that stuff with SAP using Tosca would be part of SAP certification, which would be considered as a advanced certification for SAP. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right.
So
Anyone
that
else?
certification will be that certification whatever the SAP related completely that will be covered in another training or how it will.
Um, Precisely, if you're working on SAP as one of your application in your organization, you can be able to take it up when you're taking up these AS1 and AS2 certifications. So I can definitely
Okay,
guide you for that. Yeah. But that's not going to be solely part of this particular training.
okay.
Like I mentioned, because let's say only 2 or 3 of you are working on SAP, rest all might be just trying to imagine the UI, right? Because they cannot have SAP handy to them. So that's the reason we
Yeah,
are not taking that up. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Understood.
All right. Anyone else would like to bang right here? Or we can knock the next door.
Hi, I have a question. So, can we automate Dynamics 365 using Tosca?
The answer is big yes, we can. Of course, Dynamics 365 has its own concerns. ID keeps on changing, right?
Yes.
Attributes that you keep on finding are quite dynamic. So it is going to be little struggle when it comes to automation. So, but to answer your question, big yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Uh, yeah, this is Nikhil.
Go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead.
and I don't have any testing background. Earlier, I worked in a support, so I want to shift from support to testing. It is, I mean, how much it is codeless? So few people say it's completely codeless. It is, we need to write code. How it will be the tool? How the job
Okay, okay. If
opportunity
you don't
will?
mind, can we pick that question in FAQ? It is one of my FAQ,
o-
which probably we're going to discuss further. Okay.
Okay,
I'm so the questions I'm expected right now more on the syllabus side. The question that you have asked, yes, that is a plan of our discussion going down the line. I'm going to pick that
okay,
up. Yeah.
okay.
Cool, cool, Nikhil. Anyone else on the syllabus side?
Yeah,
Yes, hi.
if in case, yeah, continue.
Yeah, okay. So, do we test? I mean, like, do we able to test the mobile testing for Tosca? Like, can we
Yes, we
test
can.
mobile? Okay, that
Because
will
you see
cover in.
nowadays everything is I mean any application that you're working upon or you're using, every organization is keen to have web-based application, that means website, along with the mobile
Mm,
app for the same, right? So UI
Yes.
changes. So, but to answer your question, yes, it is possible. To answer your next question, that wouldn't be the part of this course, considering two reasons. One, you need a hardware for that, right? You need to connect your mobile at a runtime, right? And probably with the real, I mean, since for this certification, you're going to get the trial version of Tosca, right? So
Yes.
if everything you're going to get with the trial version, no one is going to buy the license with Tricentis, right?
Yes.
So how they gonna make the business? So that's one of a reason that I can tell you the things, we can definitely see how things work, but you won't be able to practice it for yourself.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Next.
So once we completed AS1 syllabus, so I can take immediately certification, right?
Okay, two things. What is certification to you?
Like as part of syllabus you shown, right? AS1, AS2, like that.
Correct. So
So
for example,
the
let's take it other way around. Okay, if let's say that I mean, you must have prepared for your board exams, right? So it's been
yeah,
years. I mean, you might have gone through prelims and all of that, right? But
yeah,
definitely you would be in a shape where you're confident enough that you can go and opt the certification, right? Then and then only you prepared yourself, right? Not just in terms of knowledge, but also in terms of a confidence that yes, I'm in a shape that I know the concepts that I should opt for the exam. Correct? So that's how
yes,
it is.
yeah,
You can opt the certification. You can go off after it, right? After the next day we are finishing the batch. That's absolutely fine, as long as you're confident enough. Okay, but to be very honest with you guys, I've been interviewing like hundreds of students a month, right? At least 2 to 3 interviews a day. Half of them are, all of these certifications are there in their pocket, right? But the problem is a very few of them has already implemented those concepts in a real time. Like I mentioned, in AS1 there is a topic called loops. Each one of us know that. We have studied that in engineering or whichever the technical course that you have been through. But very few of them have already implemented that at a real time. Correct? So that kind of a concepts usually I expect. Even if you're not certified, I don't care much. But as long as you know the fundamentals and the implementation of those concepts, that makes a huge impact than having a certification badge in your pocket. Okay. Anyone else?
Uh, what about Tosca license?
Okay, good question. Like you all guys know, Tosca is a premium tool. Unfortunately, not free. So going away from Selenium, nothing is free here. So if you enroll, right, because it's a demo session, and no, I'm not sure how many of you have enrolled it. So once you enroll for the course, you would be granted a license for 6 months. Yeah, so within that 6 months you can practice yourself, you can pick these certifications, you can perform whatever you want, you can do the real-time implementation, so you don't need to wait for your organization to allow you to work on the real-time project. You can utilize that 6 months of license, you can automate Flipkart, Amazon, Mintra, any numerous websites on the market, and you can grow your own knowledge. So that would be handy to you for 6 months. Again, trial, not all the features are enabled, but the syllabus that you're seeing on the screen, most of the topics, 95 to 99% of the topics are enabled there, and you can practice by yourself with that trial license for 6 months. So that's another reason I have not involved or included mobile and rest of the topics, because that might not be the part of the trial license. But since it's a trial license, it would be granted to you with your own credentials. Nobody else can use it. So that would be granted to you only after you complete your enrollment, probably fee structure or everything. Probably admin team can get a better idea to you on that. But I think your confirmation of your seat is something that you would need to. Is that
Hello.
answer your question?
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right,
Thanks.
mate. Thank you. Yes, somebody else?
Yeah. Hello. Am I audible?
Loud and clear, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, after the course is completed, will you help us with mock interviews?
Yeah, that's going to be my next slide. So let's just get into it if we don't have anything else to discuss.
Yeah, as we are new to it, so we don't know how the interview questions
No
are.
worries,
So,
mate. No worries. Absolutely. So if there are no any other questions, we can go ahead with this answer and the next slide as well. Anybody else has any other question?
Please go ahead.
All right. So these are certain more benefits that not just these courses or the certifications that I mentioned in syllabus. Apart from that, these are several things that I'm going to, um, I'm happy to help you with. So this is something is totally proactive benefits. I'm not going to arrange sessions for this as long as you come up to me and ask me, hey, these are the things I need to. Resume preparation, which would include, because what I think most of us do is that, like I mentioned earlier, when we are confident enough with certain topics, we just exaggerate our experience, right? So probably even if you're working with Tosca for 6 months, you just showcase it for 2 years or something like that, right? But there is a phrase which we call it, whenever, even if you copy, there has to be a sense to copy things, right? So I can help you with a preparation of your resume, adding up the real-time projects which would actually showcase your Tosca capabilities and which wouldn't be a suspicious one, right? So it would be helpful enough. Of course, I would make sure that the things or the topics that we're considering as a part of experience of yours, you are actually good enough. So that would happen only after I interview you as a mock interview. Okay. So if that goes well, I would definitely come to know that how good you are with certain topics. And only at that extent, I would help you to add up those projects into your resume at a real time. Is that clear? I mean, it's not just I will help you and pass on to you certain lines that you can go and add up into your resume, because people who are interviewing you, they are aware that what exactly the project that you have worked on. Like someone asked, can we automate Dynamics 365? So someone who has worked on Dynamics 365 with Tosca, he knows how to play with the IDs, right? So if I'm helping you to add that into your resume, my questions are more on that orientation. So I would definitely not encourage to you guys to add up on certain technologies into your resume which you haven't worked on Tosca. So I will encourage you to work on different applications on Tosca with the real time, which can be helpful to you and can be showcased into your resume as a part of your real time experience, right? If, for example, the application Flipkart, right, is developed in a React.js or AngularJS as a base, as a development platform to it. But if you consider this, normal websites, like probably if I have to talk tutorials point or something, are developed in .NET. So .NET applications are comparatively easy to automate than AngularJS or React.js, right? So if you guys are proactively showcasing your interest in automating several websites in React.js or AngularJS, we can add up that kind of applications in your resume as well. But if you guys are just willing to practice yourself on some basic .NET applications as a part of completions of your exercises that I'm giving to you, as a homework. So you might not be able to showcase that into your resume because an interviewer would catch you in a, you know, fraction of second, and I wouldn't want you to be rejected for that reason. So these two things would run in parallel in mock interview preparations and resume preparations. And the third topic, which is most important, real-time automation scenarios, like I mentioned, um, just to rate yourself, right? If you are good with the basics and you have to rate yourself, there are several scenarios which I can put across, which will challenge your fundamental abilities of concepts, and you are forced to think the approaches which can helpful to you to call yourself a little pro when it comes to a Tosca. For example, if your overall experience is 6 years or 7 years, and if you are willing to showcase most of your experience with Tosca, so which is 3+ or 4+ years, so as an interviewer, I would expect certain advanced things from your side. I will not judge you with some basic concepts of Tosca, correct? So if you are willing to showcase yourself in that way, I can help you with some real-time scenarios which proactively you need to pick up or come up to me, and I'm happy to help you to get those solved. Um, any questions on this?
Hi,
Yes.
Kamal.
How to approach you?
I think we have a WhatsApp group. We have this
Yeah.
session happening every day on the weekdays, right?
Yeah. But how to
So I
approach
think
you individually to
I
come up
think
with a
as
real-time
long as
scenarios?
I wouldn't mind at all to, you would drop your query on the WhatsApp. I would answer it happily. Okay.
Sure.
So as long as this course is going on, I would be happy to extend this because we are having this session 1 hour a day. I wouldn't mind spending 15 more minutes every day to just resolve your each day queries.
Okay.
I would be more than happy to extend it that way.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Anyone else?
Hi, Kamal. Are you able to show me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, will you cover any real-time automation scenarios in SAP?
Um, I can, but probably you won't be able to mock it up using your trial license.
Okay, just maybe can we let you know that any real-time scenarios like how to automate those P2P processes and order to cash process in SAP?
I can definitely pick that up, but I would definitely need to take up and because SAP is a ERP tool which is paid, right?
Yeah.
So we'll need to check if we can have any trial version of SAP which can be free to us, right?
Just I wanted to know that how to automate those scenarios.
I would be more than happy to cover that, but unfortunately, I mean, I haven't considered that as a part of this syllabus because I've given you the reason already. The license that you're going to get, you won't be able to mock that up. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's the problem. So I can definitely help you out with that. If you come up with queries, I can consider basic scenarios as well. But unfortunately, you won't be able to again practice that on your own.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Cool. Anyone else?
Hi, I have one question. The market is very bad right now, so I don't know.
What
It
do you
should
mean by bad market? Nice
job
thought to
market. I'm
discuss.
saying job
Let's go with it.
market.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh, I'll tell you one thing. Okay. People those think the market is bad, right? I'll give you an example. I'm not sure if is there anyone who has worked more than 12 or 15 years in the market? Anyone?
I mean,
Okay. So you would agree with me that when even I started to work with IT industry, right, there used to be a formula. If you are a tester, and if let's say my experience is 2 years, and I'm a tester, my salary would be around 3 to 3.5 lakhs. And if I'm a developer, my salary used to be 4 to 4.5 lakhs. So basically 1.5 times of your experience if you are a tester, and 2 to 2.5 times of your experience if you are a developer. So am I right, buddy? Whoever just
Yeah,
raised his hand. So
sure.
that's how the market started earlier. Okay, so the lady just raised a concern, right? The market is bad. So tell me, are you in that shape? You know your salary, you know your experience. I'm sure you must be way more than that, right?
Yeah,
So the thing is, what has happened is that there is a rule of the, not industry, it's a world of, this universe. If there is somewhere, if you're forming a, you know if things are being gathered at one place, definitely you're digging at some one place, right? So saturation is a part of a rule, and that's how this layoffs and things are going to happen in the industry, right? But one thing I always ask the candidate whom I'm interviewing, let's say I interview a people, who are probably half of my experience, but their expectation of their salary is even more than what I'm earning now. I see it is absolutely fine what he's expecting, but I one question he must understand and answer: how do you justify yourself with this salary, right? If your skill set is good enough that I can get someone with 10 lakhs with the same skill set, why would I hire you with 25 lakhs? Is there any X factor that you have? So the lady who asked me the question, right, the market is bad. So I would like to ask you that, do you see yourself in a phase where you can say that if interviewer asks you, do you have any X factor which distinguishes you in the crowd of the probably 100 people?
Yeah, actually, I have experience of like 5 years, and I have been applying for like 1 year, but I haven't got any job.
See, that's my
Yeah.
point, right? That's the point that I'm talking about. Now just type Tosca on LinkedIn. You might get probably 100 jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just one of a batch, probably, just 25 or 30 of us. There are thousands of batch happening every month with different training institutes. Each one of them, after completion of AS1 and AS2, pretend themselves as 2 years experience Tosca resource, right?
Mm-hmm.
So unless you prove yourself as some X factor, how would you be able to stand out into the crowd and you get
Actually,
the
I'm
job?
not getting the interview itself. I mean, if they, if any interview is scheduled, then I can prove, right? But interviewer, I'm not
Okay.
getting any interview as well.
So I
And
would
yeah,
definitely like to check the way
very
that you're applying to
frustrated.
the jobs. But yeah, that's not a fact. I cannot see your name though. But yeah, I can definitely, because I've been working with various organizations. HSBC, I've worked for quite a long time, more than 6 years. Then I was in Canada with Bank of Canada for 3 years. Then I was in Singapore for more than 5 years with UOB and OCBC. So these are few of the accounts which are work using Tosca for, at a wide extent. So yes, my contacts can definitely help you out to get. I'm
Mhm.
not saying job assurity. Please don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not promising anything like that, but I can definitely help you out in,
Yeah,
preparation of the
my,
resume.
yeah. My question is like the playwright is free version, right? I think that's in the market right now. I think so. So, mm I don't know what's the market for Tosca right now. Yeah. Tosca is paid version, so why do people use Tosca instead of playwright or Selenium?
Okay, that's few of the FAQs I was expecting, so I already listed them out. I can definitely discuss that further. Is there anyone else who would like to take up any question other than this, or I'll just go ahead and start with the next slide?
you can go ahead. Yeah.
Cool. So coming up to your question, demand of Tosca automation. So like I mentioned, when I started with Tosca, there was not even a single opening with Tosca when you used to type it on LinkedIn. But nowadays there is a demand of Tosca. Okay, people who are working with various banking and finance domain applications, Tosca is widely used in that, at least in India. If you're planning to have this job applied abroad, right, they are more on the automation, automobile and health sector, healthcare sector. Okay, people working with SAP, again, SAP is an ERP tool which is being widely used in PP, which is process material management and various other modules. Okay, but at the end of the line it is more on the banking or the transaction side, where you make some purchase order, purchase request and all of that stuff. So demand of Tosca, yes, it is huge. Humongous resources are being exchanged and interchanged within different organizations within India. So that's the answer of your first question. Now, how it would be fulfilled, right? Like I mentioned, okay. Um, though Tosca is a paid tool, the certifications of Tosca are not that expensive. Like you guys can see, whatever the fees that you're going to pay, you're going to have at the end of the day, if you practice yourself well, you would be ending up having 5 to 6 certifications into your pocket. Correct? So no wonder maybe 1 month down the line, your LinkedIn is updated. You're putting it as, certified Tosca engineer, senior Tosca engineer. Probably you will just add up your previous experience to it and you would pretend it as a Tosca experience, right? But like I mentioned, if in your CV you have mentioned something that you have worked with SAP, but you haven't implemented that at a runtime using Tosca, you can't pretend yourself as a Tosca tester using SAP. And if you see and check the LinkedIn, they are more specific that what is a domain that they are looking for in Tosca. SAP, there are various modules in SAP, more than 300, but most probably they are using FICO, PP, MM. Then someone said Dynamics 365, very widely used, right? Then banking applications and some of the mainframe and some of the database applications. So they are more specific, not just on the Tosca, but also on the platform that they are willing to implement the automation using Tosca or the API for that matter. Okay, so unless you are pro with one of it, you won't be able to put yourself into that state where someone is screening your resume. Because what is happening, I'll tell you, it's a real time situation. Put yourself into the shoes of an interviewer. Okay, now take all of you, 1 month down the line, all of you are adding all of these certifications into your resume. On what basis I should screen you all 30 people if I have just one requirement? Correct, you yourself, you put yourself as an interviewer. You have all of these 30 resume who are there on this call right now, with all of these certifications added into your resume. I have just one requirement. There has to be some X factor into your resume, right, with which at least you should go and opt the interview. So not just your adding up Tosca certifications into your resume is going to help, but also your previous experience aligned to the Tosca project is something is going to help you. You getting my point, what I'm trying to say? Let's say if in your, for example, in your previous experience, down the line you have worked on some mobile application, and if suddenly you're going to put yourself into the shoes of a Tosca automation tester with mobile, you cannot do that, because the concepts of automating with Tosca and some other tool or probably manual testing are totally different. Does that answer your question, a lady? I forgot the name.
Yeah, yeah,
You still
yeah.
want to add up something to that? Your yeah has some more questions onto it. Just go ahead.
No, no, actually, I don't have any question. Yeah, I'm
So
just
basically, just to
listening to them.
summarize or conclude what you were saying earlier, I
Mhm.
agree that probably your resume is very well prepared, but
Yeah,
maybe down the
yeah,
line, even if you add up
yeah.
some Tosca certifications to it, we need to align the projects that you worked earlier into your past experience with Tosca.
So, do you do marketing as well, or just you this class only? One class with the resume preparation.
No, I didn't get your question. If you could just
Do you
elaborate.
guys, I mean, do the marketing for us, or? just this class only?
No. I'll just help you with the class.
Okay.
I'm a technical guide here.
Mhm.
I do coding. I'm a certified Scrum Master. I have my own things to do. So I'm
Okay.
not at all a marketing person.
Mhm.
Neither I'm going to have any benefits with you being
So you
placed
are not
somewhere.
going to help us with that, right?
See, I can definitely um, propose your profile somewhere if I could see your proactiveness, right? Let's say
Mhm.
somebody was very keen to know SAP. Yes, happy. But if this guy literally comes up with some implementations with his SAP skills with Tosca, and if he comes up with queries, right, and if I know that at a certain extent, someone comes to me, hey, dude, I need some SAP guy with Tosca, and if I see that, yeah, I can have someone who could fit his shoes better, so I can definitely recommend your name. But here, please don't take me wrong, I'm not going to assist with job assistance.
Mhm.
I can definitely help you to improve yourself, probably having a step further day by day in terms of Tosca implementation, which will down the line help you to switch your job in Tosca, right? But it's not a job assistance.
Hey,
Mhm.
I can refer.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Matt.
So, how much take time to complete a basic AS1?
8 hours.
8 hours.
Yes, but
So,
again, 8 hours to complete a certification. But in mock interview, I will not ask you anything. If you're keen to go ahead with a mock interview with me and assistance with the same, I
no,
will not ask you even a single
no,
theoretical question.
I'm
So
asking only for the course related, not for the interview and anything like that.
no, I take it, put it across other way. So
Hmm.
just to theory, 8 hours. But
Okay,
if you learn the theory and willing to implement that theory
no problem.
practically
Yeah,
and then understanding the concept, then it would take around 30 hours.
13 hours.
What 30?
Oh, 30.
Yeah. So considering we see, I'll tell you one more thing. In these sessions, I'm going to teach you the concept. I'm going to showcase you the concept, but unless you try that by yourself, you are not going to understand how exactly the things are going to happen.
I'm talking about only the module, test cases, and execution, not in the requirement, not nothing else.
Okay, if you're being more specific, I'll be even more specific.
Yeah,
um all of these sections are interconnected, Met. Okay,
I
because
know
if
that.
in so yeah, that's the way. So and if the concepts which I am going to explain, if you try by just a second. स्नेहा यार. Sorry guys, kids are a little difficult nowadays.
Not an issue.
Cool. I'll continue again. All right, you guys can see my
That's it.
screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I was saying is that the concepts which we are going to go through, if you practice yourself on each of it and have some assignments implemented by yourself on each of the topics, then it would take somewhere around 15 hours to implement each and every topic as a part of a concept by scripting by yourself. Considering you will struggle with some concept, you will um, not just one application, but you should try that same concept on some different websites, like I mentioned earlier.
Okay. So if someone is trying to go for the specific like only for the test cases, a module and the execution. So you mean to say that is only take 10 to 15 hours, 10 to 12 hours to practical?
It's good enough time, yeah.
Okay. Are you okay? Can we chat separately if you uh,
Yeah, sure. You can. Are you there on the WhatsApp group?
No, I'm not in that WhatsApp group, but I just got the invitation for this call today on.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, no worries. That's fine.
Yeah. I gave already my number, so that
Probably, yeah, that's fine. Maybe after this session, you can stay back into the call. We can continue.
sure,
Yeah,
I will be. Yeah, not an issue.
yeah, yeah, that works. Okay. Anyone else?
Hey, hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead,
have a
mate.
question. So, how this course, I mean, topics are different from the topics that are covered in the Tosca Academy videos?
Okay. Um, in what
Because,
context
as you
exactly are
said,
you?
AS1, if you see the duration, uh, this is 24 hours. So, I just want to know, are we gonna cover all the topics plus some extra,
Okay.
or how it is?
So that's the answer of what I just explained to one earlier. See, theoretically, if you just go through the concept, it would take around 8 hours. And if you implement those concepts by yourself with the trial version of Tosca you're going to get, you add up more 16 hours to it. So that's how it is ending up as a 24 hours. Considering you're implementing those concepts right away when you learning that concept. Does that
Okay.
answer your question?
Yes. Yes.
For example, let's take a simple example. Okay. I We are going through a topic loop in that case. Okay. For example, yeah. So the concept of loop probably I will be able to explain to you theoretically and even practically in half an hour, right? But unless you implement it by yourself onto your own application with your own Tosca license, right? You won't be able to understand and probably won't be end up with some queries which you might not be able to end up if we just go through theory. So you would be able to clear the certification with the help of that. But if in an interview or at a real-time project, if you have to implement that concept by yourself, you might not be able to do that. Though you're clear with the theory. Does that answer? Or you still not clear
No,
with
no,
what I'm
yes.
saying?
It makes sense.
So that's how, so the calculation what they have given on the academy is something like which includes your real-time implementation as well, which we are going to have every day, like as a part of like what you say, homework, let's call it in a simple way. Yeah.
Yeah, hi again. So I have a question like with the trial license, can we automate Dynamics 365 application
Yes, we can.
with the license version?
Yes, we can. Because the
Okay.
approach that we need to identify the attributes on the Dynamics 365 is different. There is no, I mean, the approach itself has to be little advanced, which
Hmm.
Tosca trial version supports. So,
Okay.
which I can definitely assist you with that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else? No, finally, who? Bombarding of the question is done finally. No worries. So, scope of task automation, yes, in a banking industry precisely, that's a scope. But there are various domains in which Tosca is being widely used. There are several organizations, Infosys, Accenture, Capgemini, HSBC. So precisely, I'm talking about the organizations from Pune, Bangalore, Mumbai, Hyderabad. Not Mumbai in that case, Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Chennai. I believe most of you are from these major cities itself. Um, Even in Noida, there are several organizations called Birlasoft, Globant, are some of the organizations where Tosca is being widely used. Apart from that, there are several banks, precisely HSBC, UOB, DBS, um, OCBC are few banks where Tosca is being widely used. When it comes to some of the ERP systems, IBM, and few more service-based organizations are also using Tosca nowadays. UBS, TTC are several consulting organizations which recruit the resources and put them across with their customers for the real-time support. And there are various startups nowadays. There is one in New Vision in Magarpatta. There are few more, Cirrus Labs and few more, which I am aware of, and I have supported them in terms of their auditing of their Tricentis projects. So these are few organizations which resource the resources to their customers in terms of Tosca. So yeah, there is a scope of Tosca projects, and there are possibilities that you can be uh, calling yourself as an automation tester if you are upgrading yourself from the manual tester. Eligibility to kick off automation using Tosca, like someone asked, I have no background of coding and anything. No need of coding. Tosca is codeless application automation testing tool. It doesn't require
How much
any.
time it take? Hi, how much time it takes to learn this tool? Means, example, like 45 days or 60 days.
um, if I say something specific, you need to invest that many hours into it. Okay, so considering at least 2 to 3 hours a day, if you are investing, I would say you can be a sole contributor to the project in 2 months.
In 2 months. Okay.
No, no. If you heard me well, 3 hours a day and with a different applications to be practiced with. Okay, I'm you guys might have heard me well that I said one thing, that different applications. The reason being, the approach of the automation changes when the application changes. For example, an application developed in .NET is very easy to identify the objects and automate. But let's say with the .NET application, if the test case is being developed in maybe 2 hours, the same test case designed in React.js or AngularJS or probably advanced Java would probably take maybe 2 days to be developed, right? So there is a huge difference when it comes to the um, automation of different platforms. Okay, for example, if I just have to showcase something to you, right? Let's call one as make my trip, very advanced. Okay, I know the services are terrible, but this website, whoa, this has been developed with a very, very good team. Okay, so someone said I'm pro at the automation, but if you could just see here, right? If you could just put some date and all of these things here, and if you just click on here, it would showcase you the prices at a runtime, right? So the scenarios which, but you might not be able to see these kind of prices in some other websites. So this scenario can come up into your interview, that how can I navigate to the date which has the lowest price of May, right? So this is a very advanced scenario for someone who can, because there are a couple of numbers which need to be compared and automated. There are a lot of loops and conditions which you need to play with. So someone who is good at loops and conditions and concepts might not be able to automate this because he never came across this kind of a website. You get my point? So you need to explore more and more websites and more platforms to implement your knowledge. Then and then only you'll be able to automate that. So that's the point that I keep on talking about, that it's not just about uh, knowing the fundamentals and practicing it on the Tosca trial web shop sites. It has to be going beyond that. Got it? Industries, like we discussed, various industries like we listed earlier. And Tosca with other automation tools, if I just have to put it across, yes, Selenium is a freeware, but it requires a coding language knowledge, right? You have to be very good at least with the concepts of Java and core Java. Apart from that, there are certain scripting concepts which you would need when it comes to JavaScript, right? With applications like Qtp, you would need to have an understanding of VB script, correct? Again, QTP is not free, and it also requires a scripting understanding, right? So whenever you put these things into the business, most of you are experienced here. You know how billing works, how a project, a test plan is being designed, and how costing play an effective role into it, right? So you always call a man days into it, correct? So with Selenium, suppose developing some one resource is developing 2 scripts a day, having a freeware tool, right? And if that project is going to run for probably 6 months, because a tester can only design 2 test cases a day, right? So for 6 months he might be able to design around 300 scripts, correct? But Tosca being a paid tool, if I'll pay some money and if I'll get that entire 300 test cases automated in probably 2 months, so I have saved my 4 months anyways, correct? So it's not just about free or paid tool, it's about the effectiveness, or what we can call it as return of investment, ROI, at the end of the day. If using a free tool is ending up spending quite a long time for you, it's better to utilize that money in buying a paid tool and get that thing done in a lesser time, is also making the same deal for that. Also the reusability can be achieved. Okay, so that's the reason Tosca is being widely used in market, because one, no concept required for the scripting. Second thing, easy to adopt and learn. And third thing, it supports most of the application platforms except MacBook. I mean, the platforms which are designed on the iOS side. Any questions on this? Or apart from this, any other FAQs you would like to discuss?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Any limitations of Tasca? I'm just getting started with this automation tool. I'm new to this.
Quite
So,
a many. Every tool has limitation. One thing is cost. It's expensive.
okay.
Second, like I said, it doesn't support MacBook. I mean, it only supports Windows. It
Sure.
doesn't support Apple systems. So that's the biggest drawback, or I would say the limitation right now. And some more limitations are like, integrating Tosca with some of the tools is still a struggle, but most of them it actually integrates with. So these are few which are very um, importantly brightened drawbacks or the limitations of Tosca.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
One last question from my side. So, can we do full-scale performance testing using Tosca?
No. What is it? Can you repeat? I think I missed it.
Can we do full-scale performance testing using Tosca?
What exactly you mean by full scale?
I mean, like doing load testing, stress testing.
So, see, two things. Tosca Commander is more about UI side. Okay, that's a functional
Okay.
test.
Okay.
For performance, we have a different tool which is designed by Tricentis, but which is not part of Tosca Commander, which is called
Neoload.
Neoload. Okay,
Neoload. Okay.
Neoload is altogether a different tool,
Hmm.
same like Tosca. Okay,
Okay.
so that is what we are going to discuss tomorrow. So what is Tricentis, how the products are, how each product is defined, and what exactly their practical usages are. Okay, because a lot of people misunderstand this, that Tricentis Tosca, that's it. But Tricentis has 8 or 9 different products at least,
Okay.
which are used in market on a wide scale. There are many more.
It's 9.
Neoload is one of it.
It's a 9 product to market right now.
Exactly. So that's what? So neoload is something which deals with performance. So that is, so full scale or half scale, again, that is a part of performance again, but commander doesn't do it, to answer your question.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? No?
Hi, Kamal.
Hi, go ahead.
Yeah. After the session, will you provide me the recording? Because currently I'm living in London, so I'm not able to attend every day. So suppose if I miss the class.
So each and every session is going to be recorded. You can have it accessed through your go to meeting links and stuff, and you will be able to go through it, so not a problem.
Okay, okay, on the same day I can get the link. Yeah.
You should, after the session though.
Okay, got it.
Anyone else? If no, then we can wrap this up for today.
Yeah, one last question about can we automate the desktop application with Tosca?
Good question. The answer is yes, we can. But again, like someone asked, limitation. Not most of the desktop applications can be automated using Tosca. Many of
When
the
you
useful
say
applications like Word, I would say, uh, mainframe database, right? These are some of the desktop applications which can be automated using Tosca. But there are a few internal reporting systems of the organizations, or probably some of the internal tools which are desktop applications nowadays cannot be automated using Tosca.
so we can automate the mainframe database like you
We
mentioned.
can, yes.
Okay, but which we cannot automate? Like we have Electron application.
See, there are two things. Okay, again, like you said, you have some X application. Okay, every application has to go through a compatibility check. Okay, because it might possible that we would be able to automate at certain extent, or it might possible that we cannot automate at all. Okay, so every application we need to go through. It's like I cannot tell you upfront that this application can be, this application cannot be. So if you understand what I'm trying to say, right?
So when you say compatibility check, you mean to say the Tosca commander having some feature to do the compatibility check?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So Tosca commander would interact with that application at a runtime. Then we can check how that interaction happens. Like if table is being identified as a table, text box is being identified as a text box, and so on. You understand, right? Whenever we are um, providing some inputs to the application as a part of a script, right? So there are two things which happens when you design a script. You provide some inputs and you validate the outputs, correct? So if your application, desktop application, is good enough to accept the commands through script, and whatever output we are going to get on the application, if that can be read by the Tosca, so your application can be automated.
Okay. So the tool name is Tosca Commander.
Yes.
Okay. So like the trial version, we have it that compatibility check link they are providing us, or
No,
we,
no, no, no. I think, see, Tosca commander is something that you're seeing on the screen right now. Okay.
okay.
And if I have to automate something, so for example, let's say I need to automate, um, for example, anything like if I have to say make metric, right? So this is the application and this is the automation tool. So like you said, let's say whatever your internal application is, the desktop application, right? So for example, I want to automate this. So let's say this WPS office. Okay, this is my desktop application, correct? Office is a
Yeah.
desktop application. If I have to automate this, then what I have to do is I have to check if my Tosca is able to identify that WPS office as one of the application or not. Got it?
Yeah.
And if my Tosca is in a shape to identify this this menu as a menu, this slide as a slide, or this area as a editable text box where I can type through a script, then I can automate, right?
Okay. For that, I can do it by like adding a inputs in XPath. I need
Exactly,
to write it and
exactly,
I need to check whether it's taking it or not. Like whether
exactly.
it's able to. Okay.
That's what you need. That is the compatibility check.
Okay, okay. I thought like there is a separate link. Okay, okay. I
No, no,
got it now.
no, no. There is no something. You
Okay,
would need
okay.
to have a Tosca for that.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else?
Hi, Kamal. So, Kamal, are we covering DEX concept here?
Okay, so the DEX concept, yes, big yes, we are going to cover. I probably might have not added it right here, but I'll get it because it is part of one of a certification as well. Okay, whenever we are going to go through some of these data approaches in TDS1 and TDS2, so we are going to check how those things are going to work. And this A1, if you heard me earlier, that it is going to see the integration of Tosca with different application like SAP and all of that. So DEX is going to be the part of that A1 itself.
Oh, and one more thing, when we work in Tosca, we have two kind of environments, right? Like single user and multi-user workspaces, right? So
Correct.
the approach is different, right? Like for single user and multi-user. So is it possible to cover some basics of multi-user workspace when we work
See,
on
I'll tell you
multi-user
one
workspace?
simple thing, okay? Very basic thing. This is the single user workspace because it is on my local.
Local. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So the simple difference is single user workspace is always on your local, and shared workspace has to be on the cloud because it can be accessed by anyone in your team.
Okay.
Correct? So
Yeah.
that's the simple difference. Now, since the licenses that you're going to get are the local licenses, correct? So, and anyway, all of us that we are working, we all are not falling on the same cloud, correct?
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're working with Accenture and you have 20 more employees working in your team, so you have a common cloud with the Accenture where you can create your workspace and you can put your data saved right there, right? But all of us making no sense to create some shared workspace because we all are going to work on a different things. Yes, there are certain concepts which differs when it comes to the single user workspace and multi-user workspace. I'm going to take those as a part of training.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Kamal. Yeah, the check-in, check-out, some concepts
Correct. All of
would be
those
there. Right? Yeah.
concepts we can definitely we are going to take up.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Next question.
By the way, what is your full name, Kamal?
So actually, this is I'll definitely introduce myself completely. I need to
Okay.
check with this organization once because I'm not sure why these people have told me that not to disclose the name
Those.
probably.
Okay.
Not sure
Okay.
the reason, but I need to check with these folks.
Okay. Okay. Kamal.
Cool. Anyone else? Okay, so I'm based out of Pune. So if any one of you is also from Pune, feel free to reach out. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
good.
we don't have any more questions for today. Anyone else? I think someone was speaking something. Hello? Yes, someone has raised hand, I could see.
Think this is Nikhil. I listen the question answers, but I'm not from testing background side. I'm not working from last 1 year. Currently, I'm planning to return back to IT. So Tosca tool, if I learn it, how much experience I can put it? Earlier, I have 8 years experience regarding to support side.
Okay. So basically, see, there are two things. One, I appreciate that you are about to, kick off your journey back again. Wishes to you on that. Good luck to you, mate. Second, to answer your question is that I would suggest you don't rely completely on Tosca. Start brushing up your manual testing concepts again. Okay, because
Okay.
at the end of the day, you're a tester. Be it manual or automation, the last thing what you're going to mention is a tester. So as long as you have your concepts of testing strong, then you will have a better understanding of implementing those concepts in an automated way when it comes to Tosca. But if you're lagging with the testing concepts itself, probably, mate, I can definitely explain that to you in the session, but I cannot go deep into the testing concept because we have more in our plate to focus on when it comes to automation. So what I would suggest
Okay.
is go ahead with some testing concepts, manual testing concepts, and try to relate those concepts with automation when it comes to Tosca.
Okay.
Like I said, loop,
Thank
right?
you.
Like I said, some
Yeah.
variable storing, like I said, methods, I mean, these are certain concepts which you would need when it comes to scripting. But if you don't know the testing concepts itself, it will be difficult for you to understand the scripting concepts.
Okay. Okay, I got it. So I will start parallelly manual testing concepts,
Absolutely, you have
and
to. You have to.
okay, I will parallelly compare those things how I can
All
do
right,
in
man.
Tosca.
Refer tutorials point, refer Guru 99. It's a good website. Yeah,
Okay.
cool. Anyone else?
One last, the timings will be same, right? Like 9 p.m. IST.
Yeah, 9 to 10 because that's the only convenient time for me as well. It's
Okay.
like 11:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. for me. So,
Weekdays or weekend?
weekdays is what we are planning right now. 1 hour a week. I mean, every day in a week.
Hmm.
But weekends, if I mean, I don't know how these things are going to be. This is more admin side question, to be very honest. But I think this batch is more on the weekday front, 1 hour a day. But to be very honest, if I just have to speak, this is more better to go through a concept every day for an hour than to wait for the whole week and invest your 2 hours on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, that's good idea. Okay.
When will the class start? That's the last question.
I think today was a first class. So yes,
Oh,
we have kicked off. You need to tomorrow we'll have one more session, and I think so. I'm not sure if I think they've told that 2 demo sessions are going to be free for you.
oh,
So maybe by tomorrow end of the day you would need to make a decision
need to pay.
because tomorrow I'm going to walk you through the Tosca Tricentis products, what exactly Tosca does, and I'll also walk you through the basic sections of Tosca, how it works, right? Maybe we can have a quick test case automation of a one simple flow, maybe just log in or something like that. So it will clear you what exactly and how Tosca is and how it will help you to probably fly you by yourself with your own wings.
Okay. Thank you.
And could you share this 1 hour recording?
I think it would be uploaded on the website very soon.
Okay.
I'll check this with management and I'll let you know.
Thank you.
All right, no more questions. I think we are good then. We can wrap this up for the day. A little overshoot the time as well. Uh, Tomorrow we have an agenda of seeing few more concepts of this. Let's catch up tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All
Thanks.
right,
Thanks,
guys.
Thomas.
Thank
Thanks,
Thank
Ray.
you.
you.
See you
Have a good
tomorrow.
day.
Bye bye. Good night.
Thank you.